Hey there, everyone.
Hi, we are here.
We're back and ready for action. We did a poll earlier over in the Selling Signature Service Facebook group asking you guys what one topic you guys wanted to hear about. And we're going to go live diving deep on into that. So basically, there's so many of us that are craving this business independence, like the independence that you get from starting and building your business. But so many of us don't know what to do with that freedom now that we actually have it. And we're going to talk about how to navigate that effectively and how to really operate within this like larger amount of freedom than, you know, we say we pray for it, we crave it, then we get it. And it's like we don't even know what to do with it and how to operate in it. So if you guys are new to me or my page, again, I'm Jerisha Hawk, income strategist. I help people really serve, sell, and scale with a signature offer in their business. And I have my business bestie here.
Hi guys, I'm Jordan Gill. I'm the founder of the Claudia Group, and I also host a podcast called Systems Saved Me. Go check it out on iTunes. I just celebrated my 100th episode last month.
Do that.
So yeah, really intense, really fun. And essentially I help folks with their business operations, meaning how, and if you don't think you have business operations, everybody does.
Everybody does.
Literally.
If you don't know, that means you need her more than you even realize.
Right. So it's really about the systems, the workflows, and I also have an automation twist to it on how we can get you more time back, but not necessarily take away things in your business or get it off your plate. It still needs to happen. So, so that's my jam and what I like to do day in and day out.
Yeah. So we're in California.
Yes.
And then my retreat is about to start tonight, but we wanted to make sure that we were just chatting with you guys too before we even kick off. So as you guys are hopping on live or catching this in the replay, I'm interested to know, like, do you struggle with the larger amount of freedom that you have now that you're actually building your business? Or do you feel like you have less freedom now maybe than like what you even had before starting to build your business?
Yes. So, hey, Janet.
Hi, Janet. Hey, Tamika.
Christina. Say hey, everyone.
Pop in the comments and say hey so we can know that you are here.
Yes.
Throw some hearts or love up on the screen.
I'm guessing. Sorry if I say your name's wrong. My name is Jordan, so it's really, like, basic. It's like the Jordan River, Jordan Sparks. Everybody knows. Is what it is.
So, like, I guess we can start off by, like, how do you define business independence? Like, maybe what did you think about it before you became an entrepreneur?
Hey, Erin. Hey, Jennifer.
What did you think about business independence, or what did you crave before you started your business?
Yeah, so I have a wonky story in the sense that I didn't ever touch corporate, like not even like dip my toe. Didn't even intern at really the corporation. There were corporate companies that I'd interned with, but they were remote. So again, I just never felt the bureaucracy, and I never felt the trap part because I was always like on my own time or whatever else. So to me, business independence is really being able to make my own decisions and not have it be influenced by other people. And also like right now I have a 3-day work week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And well, obviously like travel doesn't really count, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And so then I can have that independence of, okay, if I want to go somewhere for 4 days, Friday through Monday, like, no one really has, like, a say about that. Like, I went to Austin a couple weeks ago, literally just because I needed to get away. And so, and I was able to do that, and I didn't have to move any calls. I didn't have to warn anybody. I didn't have to, like, you know, toot the horn and say, like, I'm off, y'all. It's like, no, I'm just going to be gone, and it's going to be great. So it really comes down to the decisions I make in my business, and as well as, like, also being independent of other people. You know, I have clients and all that sort of stuff, but I still have a say in how my time is spent and when I'm ready. So, yeah. Oh, nice, Chelsea.
Yes, Chelsea.
Yay.
Yes, girl.
3-day work week. It's the best. So that word independence is something that so many people talk about, but like true independence is like, I ask for feedback sometimes.
Yeah.
It's nice to brainstorm. But also, when it comes down to it, I make the final decision. Mm-hmm. And so I have to trust myself, and I have to say, okay, like, yes, you got, you know, a few different pieces of feedback. Everyone said this, but then I always check back in with myself to say, what is actually in line with Jordan, her mission, and who I am, which I've gotten to know myself a lot over the years. That's more of what the independence is I have the final say basically in all decision making, and I don't seek out unnecessary feedback, which just sounds really weird.
No, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Hopefully it makes sense.
Throw some hearts up.
Hey, Julia,
or some thumbs up.
Whoop. What about you?
So I think when I was working, I've been in corporate. That's all I know is corporate. But for me, I was thankful and like kind of lucky to have a job that, even though it was like a corporate environment, I never felt trapped.
Yeah.
In the sense, like, my job gave me a lot of flexibility. But the interesting thing now is, like, now not being in it, even though you had all this flexibility, you still were confined.
Yeah.
They created a culture and an environment that gave you the perception that you weren't bound, or that you didn't have, like you can make your own schedule. You can choose to come in. You can do X and do Y. And it was flexible, but it wasn't true independence. Yeah. They created a culture and gave me, like, a sense that I had control, when in actuality, like, I didn't. Yeah. So that was my experience. So, I mean, I didn't, like, hate it.
Right.
You know, I loved my job. I loved my career. I loved the company that I worked for. But the thing for me, like, when it came to, like, business independence and freedom, I call this my great day. Some of you guys have heard this already before. But, like, 2 years ago, I was sitting in bed, kind of like flustered, and I wrote down, like, what would a great day for me look like. Mm-hmm. And I would be like, no working on Mondays, waking up with no alarm clock, not doing anything reactive until after 11 a.m. Mm-hmm. And that's what freedom meant to me. So, like, in my job, you know, I have to commute an hour and a half. That was a non-negotiable.
Right.
So, like, do I have control? No, I'm waking up at 5 in the morning. I don't want to do that.
No.
Like, you know, driving an hour and a half just to before the job even starts.
Right.
And then, like, it's like really project determined. So if it was a crazy schedule, and I think that happens in business too, like, but we can control when that craziness happens. Mm-hmm. I didn't have any control over that. Mm-hmm. So it didn't really give me the flexibility to, like, deal with life and deal with, like, my internal personal growth. Mm-hmm. Like, if something crazy was going on at work, you just had to, like, I don't know, like, show up in it, right, like, in that, whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like we have more space and, like, control over that now, being full-time in business.
Right.
So independence for me, like, I craved no alarm clocks, not doing anything reactive until after 11, and working I wanted a 4-day work week. So Mondays I didn't work. That'd be like a me day. Yeah. And Fridays would be somewhat work, you know, it'd be more like a catch-up day, like a follow-up type of day. Mm-hmm. But core business stuff, working in the business Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and potentially working on the business on Friday.
Yeah.
So that's what it looked like for me. And I think now that I've fully stepped into it, I think to your point, like, I think it's important to have, like, that brainstorming and getting feedback and, like, you know, looking at what are the experts doing and how can I learn and grow from people. But also, like, how are you getting better at the independence that has to happen in business, in the sense of, like, how are you making decisions? Mm-hmm. And I think that's a muscle that corporate really, like, positioned me for. Because I was in, like, this leadership program, and, like, my mentors always told me the higher up you go, you have to get better at making decisions, like, being more independent in your decision making. Mm-hmm. So you have to be able to make decisions quicker, faster, and with less information. Mm-hmm. Hi, Laura! Quicker, faster, and with less information. And then once you've made that decision, like, commit and stay with it.
Right. And
I got that in corporate, but, like, doing it on your own, like, that comes with the independence.
Yes.
And I think that's still a muscle I'm like, definitely working on flexing, and just having, I think I could do a good job making the decision, but I think I have, like, this self-worry or self-doubt that, like, spirals internally. Yeah. And, like, how do I, like, I'm trying to get better at just, like, doing a better job of trusting my intuition. Mm-hmm.
And, like, I thought this was a Genius set design / split screen.
Oh.
We are together. Wouldn't that be awesome? Touch each other. Hey, Kelly. And I think that also, I mean, as business owners, with the freedom can come, like, the integrity piece of just like, okay.
Jordan's going there, y'all.
Right. Okay. It's the afternoon. Everybody's awake. So
this integrity piece you speak of, Jordan.
Yes. So it really comes down to, who was it that we were just talking about who spoke? Oh, James
Wedmore.
Yeah, Wedmore, talking about integrity.
He
Somebody
preaches
else.
self-integrity.
Oh, Jim Fortin.
Jim
Okay.
Fortin is really the fella.
Jim Fortin, yeah.
He was on David Wedmore's podcast.
Yes, that's what happened. And so just talking about when you make a decision.
If you haven't been listening in, tune in now. Ears perked, lean in.
Bro, lean in. We leaning in. You lean in.
Okay? Lean with us.
Right.
Meet us here.
Lean with it. Rock back. All right. So, when you make a decision, and I don't mean like, oh, maybe I'll do this. That's not a decision.
That's not a decision.
Saying, I'm going to launch this specific course on May 10th, 2018. That is the decision. You've set the date. You set everything. And lean to the screen. Yes. And like, how many times have you gone back on yourself? Now,
Can we pause? Yeah.
pause.
Think about that.
Think about it.
How many times have you made a decision, like a legit decision, not like I might do this, I could do this, I should do this. I think that's even a thing.
Ooh, should, yeah.
But like you'll
Shoulda,
say,
coulda, woulda.
how many times are you even just making a real decision? And we can talk about the lack of like, if you're still making a decision even if you don't make a decision.
Yep.
Because you not making a decision is still a decision.
It's still a decision.
It's just not conscious.
Yeah.
But after you've actually like, I'm committed, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I'm going to. Like, it is a thing. Like, this is happening.
Like this is happening.
So, when you think about it, it's like there are reasons for pushing back dates, or there are reasons for changing situations, like that are obvious, and I don't think I have to really bring up. But you also have to push past and really understand what commitments are. Like, ooh, Laura's over here. There actually are no decisions. So
She said I went there. Feel free to elaborate,
right,
Laura.
elaborate. We are open.
Yes.
Because it's really like when you think about marriage, okay? You are committing to that person, and I'm not saying obviously divorce is an option. Obviously, there's different circumstances of life.
Yeah.
However, like you are committed.
He made a vow.
Made a vow to stick through thick, thin,
Rich, poor.
all that, sickness, health. And you're committed to that. Like, how many times are we making those sorts of commitments in our business to doing things? And while that may sound like, oh, that's too serious, Jordan, I'm just here. Well, I'm serious about making money. Like, if I don't make money, I'm gonna be out on the streets.
But this comes, like, I think this is the facet that comes with the independence that I think some people, or that I think can be a shock to some.
Yeah.
Of, like, once you, like, how often you have to make commitments and how often you have to make decisions and stick by the decision that you made and operate from a space of self-integrity after you've actually made that decision.
Oh, it's like,
I'm going to is a decision you're going to put off until later. Most of the time, people don't even believe they're going to do what they say they're going to do. A choice is different than a decision. That's a good point, Laura. Like, are you choosing to do it?
Right. Yes.
Like, that is, like, I'm choosing to do this. I'm committed to doing this. Good.
So interesting.
Thank you, Laura, for that additional perspective.
Love it.
Go there.
Hey, Joanna.
We're here with you.
Let's see. Aloha. In my opinion, a conscious decision has to be mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually congruent. The lack of follow through is a sign of resistance. Getting into the practice of digging into the resistance. Exactly. Like,
so true.
there are days that I don't feel like doing stuff, and there are days where I'm able to lean into that if I'm having anxiety or whatever else. But generally speaking, some people say that it's pushing you to do something you don't want to do. But for me, I'm sticking to my commitment whether I feel like it, whether, like, I'm discouraged. Like, there's a lot of times where you start a project and then things don't go according to plan. Welcome to life.
But feelings aren't facts.
Feelings are not facts. We're not here to just, like, be daisies and roses all the time.
Yeah. And I think when you're building a business and you say that you crave this independence and you desire to have this freedom, like, there is responsibility that comes with having the freedom and having the independence that, like, I mean, I don't know, like, this week has been crazy. You know. And there's been plenty of times where I did not feel like actually following through with the commitment that I made.
Yeah.
With the choice that I made of launching and leveling up and doing certain things that I'm doing now in my business. But it doesn't mean that I can choose to like say, you know what, screw it, I'm out.
Right.
But like that's more like fear-based decisions based off of me, like, because if you were the one that first thing you do was like run away from the commitment you made,
right,
because of fear, because of like you are uncomfortable, like that one thing that's never going to go away in business.
Yeah.
Like it never, if anything, you're going to feel that and experience that more often than anything else.
Yeah.
Like in business, like that just is like, it just comes with the territory.
Yeah.
And it comes at a much higher magnitude, I think, in this territory.
Exactly, yes. Because that's a choice, right? Exactly, it's a choice. You have to, like, again, decision fatigue.
Yeah, that's real.
It is a real thing. And you're just constantly having to make choices. Like, everything is a choice. You literally walk around, oh, it's cold. Do I want to turn up the heat? Do I want to wear a blanket? Do I want to wear a sweatshirt? Do I want to drink some tea? Do I want to go outside? How am I going to solve the problem that I'm cold?
Yeah.
Okay? And yes, choice equals power. Just like understand. Yeah. Like it is, and it can get overwhelming and it can get really annoying and it can get tiring, thus decision fatigue.
Yeah.
One of the things that can help with that, or I found to be helpful with that, is just like knowing what the answer is, or like knowing what the default answer is. So like, for example, if I'm feeling anxious, I have a few default answers. I don't think of the hundreds of things I could possibly do to solve my anxiety issue. I think of the main like 4 or 5 that I've known or are proven to help me with my anxiety. I choose one and I go with it. And so it's like because again, if you have too many choices, you don't make one. Like you just sit there and you're like,
analysis paralysis.
Exactly. So doing that with yourself as well.
And I like Laura saying like choice equals power, but I think it's interesting that when you're not used to flexing the muscle of having to make more of these concrete choices, how that power can be like, I don't know, like not knowing how to operate with that level of power. I don't know if that makes sense. And that's just something that I've like had clients come to me and talk about. Like, I'm constantly having to make these choices about what I want to do and how I want to grow my business and what I want to, there's too many options. Like, just tell me, like almost to the point, like, like they want to be handheld in building their business. Basically, they're just replacing hiring a coach or joining a program from their boss that they used to have at their job. Yeah. Or that they still currently have their job. They're looking for somebody else to make all the choices and make all the decisions in their business. Yeah. And I think I totally agree. Like when you understand that when you have the true like ability to make the choices and how you show up, what you do, what you don't do, like it does give you this immense sense of power. But I think it also takes a level of like I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like I think it's like knowing how to handle that power. Yeah. And like being able to receive, knowing the fact that you have that level of control to like manage and maintain and sustain that type of power. Is that making sense?
No, it is. Website clients of this who want all the things in their navigation. Yes, Laura.
Offer it and they'll choose none.
Yep.
And it can become scary as well, making the next big decision that can change your life. But I think sometimes when it comes to that like independence and freedom that you get in business, you also have to evaluate like you choosing to level up, like knowing the fact that like it is going to be uncomfortable. It is going to cause me to stretch. It is going to cause me to do things that I've never done before because it's a choice to level up. Yeah. Or you're making the choice. And like also like, or you can make the choice to stay comfortable, stay exactly where you're at, like to do nothing. Yep. And that's still a choice and that you have the power like to control, but like they both have like, I don't know. I'd rather not be mediocre and be porridge as Jordan describes it as. Like, I don't.
No porridge around here.
Yeah, I think it's tough, like being in the power. Like Laura, I think that's something that you have to. I don't know. At least for me, I had to get better. It's different. I was in the power in corporate, and I felt a different sense of like security and safety around it. It's taking me time to do that fully in my business, especially during those moments where I'm making a very conscious choice as to whether or not I want to stay playing where I've been playing or do I want to level up.
Exactly. They both become the reality.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yeah, I think that so basically every position that I took since college was a position that nobody ever had before. So I've been having to flex this muscle for
like pretty much
a good while, like my whole career. And so there was nobody who had the answers. I had to come up with the answers because I was the first one in the position. I was the one who had to write the ops manual. I was the one who decided what was
You set the
happening.
standards.
I set the standards every single time. So it's something that just literally has been reaffirmed like throughout my entire career. And it's, you know, it's not perfect. I totally still get decision fatigue, and I'm like super over it. And I tell people on my team, like, don't come at me late in the afternoon with decisions, because I'm just like not going to answer you. Like, I'm done with decisions by like 2:00 p.m. So I think that there's room to like give yourself grace in making decisions.
I think that's a process.
It's a process, exactly.
You have a process in place to make the choices and make the decisions.
Right. Yes. I like Jim Fortin talking about everything being an illusion. What I took from that is, if everything is an illusion, I'm choosing the most exciting one every time.
That's real. Because you really, no matter what, you never really know what's going to happen.
You don't know. You do not know.
You do not know. Like,
and
so,
it's okay.
That's okay. I like that.
Yeah,
like, flirt with the
too.
Excitement of the illusion.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I like that.
And people get so frustrated if they make the wrong decision, or what decision they made didn't turn out right, or whatever else. And I think that the more that you just move toward the decision that like first comes to your mind or feels the best or whatever else, and then you say, oh, okay, like that didn't work. Next, like I'm just gonna go move over here.
Yeah.
And so not getting so tied up and so consumed with like the decision that you make, in the sense that like you can say, okay, I'm gonna try Facebook ads, and then you try them for 3 months and they don't work, whatever that looks like. And you're just like, well, I wish I wouldn't have spent that much money on Facebook ads because they weren't going to work. I knew I made the wrong decision. And then we're just going into this weird spiral situation.
You wouldn't have even known that Facebook ads didn't work, or whatever the choice was, if you didn't actually go and explore it.
Hello.
And I
now I know.
Yeah. And I think like when you're in business, you're constantly like everything is a test.
Everything.
And to Laura's point, like everything is an illusion. Everything is just like, you don't really know what the outcome is going to be, because just because it worked for Jordan doesn't mean it's going to work for me.
Literally.
Just because it worked for Laura or Tamisha doesn't mean it's going to work for Jordan. Like you don't really know.
Yep.
So like I think being an engineer prepped me for this, because all we do is experiment.
Yep.
Like all through college, all of our classes, all it is labs, and like you're just testing. And just making predictions, and then testing that prediction and seeing what the result is. But you don't get mad at like the test tube not giving you the result that you wanted. It's like, oh, I got to go change it and do something different. And and I think, Latasha, I want to build on this one real quick. Like, you have to take the leap of faith. And I think, I'm not sure where everybody's spirituality is, or where your faith is, or where like religion is, but I think at the core, like a lot of it is, I'm a believer, and I think a lot of it is based on your faith, because like you don't know. And I think it is like just trusting that, like for me, I trust the Holy Spirit that's in me that's telling me what to do, because I know that I'm just a vessel here that God is using to work through me. I no longer have to necessarily make those decisions, but like trusting what the Spirit is telling me. But also like in the natural, in our flesh, how do you get out of the feeling of like, because even when you say I failed, you defined what failure was. You made the choice, the decision to define what the parameter of failure was. Yep. Why can't you change that parameter?
Exactly.
Like
change it to a lesson. Change it to a bunch of other things.
Because like you're the one setting the standard for what it didn't work.
Right.
How do you know, like, what does that even mean? Like you set that standard.
Ants don't put this much energy into assessing the building of their genius underground myriads. They operate from knowing. So true.
That's that intuition piece, Laura.
Always talking about ants. That's funny. Okay, so why do people wish they were running their own business as they work on a job, then when they aren't working, they don't go full throttle for themselves, self-employment? What's the mental block? This is a good one. Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, so I think for, this is most of my clients transitioned from their 9 to 5 and stepped into their business full time. But she said, why do people wish they were running their own business as they work on a job? Then when they aren't working, they don't go full throttle for themselves. I think the first thing is a lot of people, while they're still in their job, that they are craving something that they currently do not have. So like they know that, and I think that people know that they've been called to a higher power or called to like a higher purpose that maybe they're not able to fully express, and their job doesn't give them the flexibility to fully express in their job. So I don't think that everybody should quit their job and go build a business. I don't think it's one or the other. Like I think there's options that happen in between where maybe like you just might be at the wrong company that's not giving you like the adequate support and giving you the opportunity to actually like use all of your strengths and skill sets. So you might just need to get a new job or find another like place of employment. But I think when it comes to building a business, I think that decision like boils down, and you say like and maybe decision is the right option for them, but they don't go full throttle. I think because they don't trust themselves and they haven't taken the time to like actually explore like what is going on with them internally. And I think sometimes if you've been in the corporate environment too long, I mean, think about it. We have been conditioned in a system to operate a certain way from birth. Vast majority of us. You go to school for 12 years, you get a high school diploma, you have to go to college. Once you go to college, you have to get a good major, get a good degree, get good grades, you can get a good job and get a good salary. Like we've been told what to do pretty much our entire lives based off of a set system. So I think it's tough for some people to transition out of that. It's ingrained in you. And then now you have to like readjust from what is the system telling me that I have to do? How is the company telling me my strategic goals, telling me how much I'm allowed to make, based off of what society has told me what I'm allowed to make and how I can actually show up? How do I completely unlearn everything I've been taught and relearn something that better serves and support me for the business that I'm trying to grow? So I think that that's a huge mental block, is how do you transition from being an employee to operating and functioning as an entrepreneur? Like I think that's a really tough block for most people. And a lot of people, if they've never operated in a role that gave them that autonomy of leadership and decision and choice, this is now their first time where they're consciously aware. I think we all are leaders and we're all constantly making choices, but actually like feeling that, knowing that, believing that, this is probably their first time if they haven't had that leadership role or been in that role where they had to make those decisions to do it. And a lot of us have been taught not to trust our own intuition.
And I also think it's similar to like the whole, you show up, you make money. Like you get to work, you leave. Really, I mean, you can pretty much...
You can half-ass at work.
Half-ass it at work.
Like, for real. How many of y'all are legitimately working a full 40 hours a week?
No.
I know I didn't.
Nope.
Like, I worked probably 20 hours a week.
Yeah, girl.
And got paid my salary.
Exactly. So then, when we have all that time and we then go off and have to make all our decisions, and then we realize just because I'm doing the effort, like, effort doesn't mean money. Like, just because I show up for the 10 hours a week doesn't mean I get paid. And that's hard to break.
And I think a lot of people are so focused on, okay, I just need to do more work.
Right.
I need to be
I'll
busier.
Make more money, and it's like, no.
Because are the things that you're doing even aligned with the things that are actually moving your business forward? Right. And I think a lot of the time is people don't give themselves the space and like the permission to experiment and figure that out, because you don't really know what's going to work for you.
Right.
And I think another thing is like unrealistic expectations around the time frame in which something will take to like come to fruition.
Yeah.
When you're building, most businesses do not turn a profit for the first 2 years. Like that is the vast majority of businesses. I can't remember the actual statistic, but it's more than 50%. I want to say it's more than 70% of businesses do not turn a profit in 2 years.
Yeah.
So for some of us who are building a business and we're not getting the results that we want fast enough, we're not seeing the income that we want soon enough.
Right.
Like, people give up on themselves so fast.
So quickly. So
I think that's another thing is like comparing yourself to people who are at step 10 when you're at step 1.
Right.
And not like taking the time to figure out like what are the things that actually drive and move my business forward, and understanding that being busy doesn't mean that I'm actually building something that's profitable.
So true, Latasha. I'm building my foundation and totally not getting paid because I trust the process. There are things that you may need to do. I'm not going to say should, would, any of that stuff. May need to do for your business, and you're not going to get paid for it. I don't get paid when I look at my financials. I don't get paid when and paid in the sense of when I do the work, there's a direct correlation to getting money and stuff like that. So there are things, there's like the cleaning up of my expenses. I'm not really getting paid for that. Like, you know, doing all these different things, setting up like actual operational stuff in the back end.
Yeah.
Can't necessarily be tied to making money. And so it can be difficult but also, here's the thing, is I feel that like people don't focus enough on sales.
They don't.
Because it's scary, because it's hard, because it's whatever. Like, people, seriously though, and
I'm just like.
Because, and I, literally the past, whatever, I guess, like December to like March-ish, my whole goal, if you look at my social media, like I post whenever I do Instagram stories, but I posted like whenever I had time or I cared or whatever else. But like number one, like if it came down to posting on social media or talking to a potential client, I said talking to a potential client. And it showed in the amount of finances I had come in the past couple of months. Like it is a complete direct correlation. So if you stop worrying about if the button should be orange or yellow, if you stop worrying about what hashtag you should use on today's post of your coffee mug, if you stop worrying about this craziness and actually cared to get a client, you solve like so many more problems.
I love that you said that, because I look at how our business were built. Like, I mean, you came out of the gate. I think your situation was really unique. Like, you came out of the gate, like, strong from a financial perspective. Yeah. And when I started, I was still working my 9 to 5. So it was like this slow momentum that built. But the thing that I think, if you're making less than $250,000 a year, main thing is, like, your number one goal is turn a profit.
Sales.
Do not worry about being pretty. Turn a profit. Because, like, those little, like, nuances... Yeah. Basically can like help change something once the foundation is already built. Right. But if you are not like, and I love that you said people are just scared of doing this, making the ask. Right. Like
business.
So now they're trying to make all the other decisions around like, go talk to real people, tell people what you do, like have the conversation, like go ask for the sale. It's easy to distract yourself from the reality that you are not making sales, so we exert energy in non-revenue producing activities to appease our ego. James!
So good. So good. Couldn't have said it better.
Child, yes!
And that comes down to, are you tracking your time? Are you tracking like where you're getting your clients from? Because I do this pretty frequently.
I think quarterly we do that at least.
Yeah. And so it's like, I realized barely any of my sales came from social media. Barely any of my sales came from my list. Majority of my sales came from like directly events or talking to people. Like actually talking to human beings.
Yes.
Like 90 to 95% of my income was coming from that. So then I was like, all right, well, if my social media doesn't really matter in the sense of according to sales, it's still important for like social proof.
Yeah, but you're not going to be spending all of your energy on it.
I do not need to be posting every day for social proof.
And like for me, my majority of my clients come from Facebook Lives.
Hello.
Like Instagram stories seal the deal for my peeps.
Yeah.
But Facebook Lives are the thing that like attract my people, and then getting on a phone call, talking to them. I say Facebook Lives and me speaking at very like specific events. Targeted events. But majority, hands down, vast majority comes from Facebook Live. Yep. So it's like, I think it's, how are you also, like, to your point, making sure that you're making the decisions on where you're spending time in your business? Because you do have the independence to, like, you are responsible for that. Yep. And then just doubling down on what works. But if you're making less than $250 a year, like, your number one goal should be, how am I specializing, communicating what I do for the sale, getting better at the sales process. Because pretty much most of the things that many of us focus on are things that amplify what currently exists.
Yeah.
And if you are not making any money, but you're focusing on amplification tools, I want to do Facebook ads. You don't even know what you're selling. You don't know how to communicate your offer. You don't have a clear offer that you're even selling. Who cares if you're getting more visibility?
Who cares?
If you're getting more visibility on something that's like sucks.
Right.
That would suck.
That would be terrible.
Worse. So yeah, I feel like we just like got hot.
I know, we got real hot. Bring it back down.
But I do want to say, if you are selling services and you need help at actually selling your services more consistently, make sure to click the link in the title of this Facebook Live. And join me for the Services That Sell workshop.
Hey.
It's free to join. All you need to do is put your name and email in the opt-in page. You'll join my Facebook group and learn.
You needed to rhyme.
How to sell your services. I'm just trying to stay on
page.
beat.
I know, but you had to rhyme with page, and then you didn't. Opt-in page, and then you said
opt-in page,
and then you can be
what
selling
rhymes with
from
page?
the stage. You don't know. Anywho.
But y'all get the point.
Yeah,
if you need help at selling your signature services more consistently or figuring out what your signature service should even be so you can go sell with confidence, just click the link in the title of this bio. Janet, if you could, pop the bit.ly/services that sell link in the comments. You guys can register. It's absolutely free to join. It's a free live 3-day workshop that we're going to be doing like super deep on the sales process and how to sell your services consistently.
Yes. And so really, we hope that we've helped you with just understanding. You decide. Again, it's all about choices. Make the choice, commit, and how to operate a little bit better in the realm of what freedom really is. Like freedom, when you think about it, is all choice. Like when you decide, I want a freedom-based business, or I want more freedom in my life, freedom, what you're really saying is, I want to be able to have the choice. If I want to buy a first-class ticket, I can. Or if I want to stay an extra week at this vacation, I can. Literally, that's literally what we're talking about. And so if you are scared to make those decisions, and you've replaced, again, your boss with a coach, a mentor, a biz bestie, a mother, like whoever this person is,
your auntie who don't know nothing about what you're doing at the family barbecue, trying to tell you how to run your business, and she broke as a joke. We can't be doing that. No.
Like, do not allow other people. You're literally giving people the ability to make your choices for you. Like
to Laura's point, like you're giving your power away.
Giving the power away. So stop it.
Yeah.
Right now. Stop it.
You ain't trying. Look, we snatch edges around here, y'all. Edges. Whoop, whoop, gone. It's okay, though. It's all in love.
It is.
I would say I wanted just to add one thing to what you said about when having the independence is really about you having the power of choice. But I think the more freedom you have, it comes with a higher level of responsibility, not for anybody else, but like from a self-integrity standpoint, like you being responsible for the decisions and choices that you make and operating from like a higher level of self-discipline, like knowing, like you strengthening that to have a higher level of integrity around the choices and decisions that you make. And like standing firm on those choices and decisions after you've made them, and having the self-integrity to continue to follow through even when it doesn't feel good.
Right.
Even when it doesn't feel comfortable.
Right. We're not about feelings. That's a whole another Facebook Live. That's a whole another Facebook page that you should be following.
Your feelings they matter.
They do matter.
But they're not facts.
Yeah. We're not going to like put a post down and say this is steady, because it's not. It's not.
You feel the fear and you do it anyways. You feel the discomfort and you still choose to step into the uncomfortable.
100%. And literally, I feel like in my business, and I did a whole podcast episode about it, like every day I'm pushing myself off a cliff. And
willingly.
Willingly. Joyfully. Gleefully.
Taking the leap.
And I'm still here. And I'm okay. And life is good. So it's not going to be rainbows, roses, butterflies, and daisies. It's like, it's the hard stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, or temporal, yeah. I thought you said temporary, and I was like, I guess kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I think, my ending thought. Do you have an ending thought?
I want to know, like, for you guys, when it comes to saying, like, I want the business independence, I want to have the more freedom, quote unquote, like, what is a decision that you need to make right now that will set you up to experience that feeling of freedom more often?
Yeah.
So, like, what is a decision that you need to be, like, what is a decision you are going to make, you will make, you are committing right now to making? I'd say put it in the comments and, like, make that commitment not only, like, with yourself, but, like, with an audience of people who that will strengthen that level of accountability to hopefully feed your self-integrity to actually, like, follow through with it.
Yeah.
So what's one decision that you need to make, that you know you need to make, that maybe you've been wavering on, or like, I'll wait to make, right. I'll just wait. You're just delaying. What's one decision, like, you're going to commit to right now to really move the needle forward so you can start experiencing the type of freedom that you desire on a more consistent basis? Let us know.
Yes, let
in
us
the
know.
comments.
Yay! All right, I'm about to take this girl to Olive Garden because
Yes!
she's about to have her salad and breadsticks.
Yes! And then I'll eat whatever else for the rest of the weekend. Okay. Thanks for joining us. If this was helpful, feel free to share.
Yes.
Engage in the comments. We'll chat soon.
Yay! Bye, guys.